What is up? What is up, everybody? What a wonderful, wonderful Sunday morning. Some of you guys are waking up to disappointment as your Buckeyes lost to those Hoosiers 13-10. Listen, I didn't expect Indiana to have that type of defense, but my goodness, that defense came to play. They came to prove that they were the number one seed, the best team in college football, and they took it to the Buckeyes. As a fellow Ohioan who follows the Buckeyes, I was amazed at how good that defense was. I know all the talk going into it was Mendoza, but that Indiana defense was just spectacular, spectacular. But we're not here to talk about the Buckeyes. As you can see in my background, we're here to talk about the Browns. I'm Angel, and you're listening to the Typical Browns Fan Podcast, episode number 2. Dose for all my Hispanic brothers and sisters out there. Today's episode is titled 4 Sacks Away from History and Exposing the Fake Kevin and Dillon Field Trip Story. I know it sounds crazy. Angel, what are you talking about? Listen, I was scrolling X and I found a video and I went down a rabbit hole and I was like, I got to share this. I got to share this ridiculous story. It's going to be amazing. I promise you. But before we get into that, let's talk about something far more important than a story that is crazy. First of all, the Browns are up against the Tennessee Titans today at 1 o'clock. At 1 p.m., your Browns will be going up against the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are 1-11, the worst team in the league. And everything on the stats show why they're the worst team in the league. But despite all that, Browns are only 3.5-point favorites at home, which shows you how bad we are as a football team. Is if you're only 3.5-point favorites at home to a team that's worse in the league, that tells you that you're not far off. So everyone that's thinking, hey, the Browns are going to win, calm down. I, as a Browns fan for all my life, I tend to put pause on anyone that guarantees a victory for the Browns. Let me show you the example of the Jets game. I know we beat the Raiders, but that was an extraordinary defensive performance by our defense, which we'll get into here in a second. But 3.5-point favorites, that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. See, we'll see if Shedeur will show some improvements. We'll see if you're able to attack a defense in which is vulnerable to be attacked. Their run game's a little better, but I think that's because their passing game is so horrible that teams tend to throw as opposed to run. But we will see what Shedeur does. But I'm not going to watch the game for Shedeur. Well, that's a little lie. I'll be watching Shedeur. I want to see if he improves. I want to see if he can grow into something special here. But I think what most of America will be tuning into is not Shedeur. It's not our running backs. It's not whether or not Jerry Jeudy is going to argue with Shedeur again when he misses a pass or drops a pass or overthrows him again. What we're going to tune in for is if Myles Garrett can break the sack record. The NFL single-season sack record, it's set at 22.5. Michael Strahan and our favorite Pittsburgh Steeler, TJ Watt, insert sarcasm, 22.5 is what it sits at. Myles is at 19. He needs 4 to break it. Now, it seems impossible, but yet we've seen it. We've seen it against the Vegas Raiders where Myles goes off for 5 and the defense goes off for 10 as a unit, 10 sacks. Myles gets half of that. Half of that. Myles gets it. So if he gets 4, he gets a record. He did 5 against the Raiders. I think it's possible. Vegas. I'm sorry, not Vegas. The Tennessee Titans are ranked 31st, second to last. What they average. I'm sorry. Vegas was ranked. Yeah, I said it right the first time. Vegas is ranked 31st with allowing 3.8 sacks per game. You know who's dead last? The Tennessee Titans. They're ranked number 32. They allow 4 sacks per game. That lines up perfectly with what Myles needs to get the sack record. Do you see what I'm saying here? The math is mathing here. If the Tennessee Titans allow 4 sacks, Myles needs 4 sacks. That means it's inevitable. The possibilities of it happening is possible, or I don't want to call it anything 100%, but it's close. It's good enough to sit there and makes you want to watch this game with hoping and praying that you will see history unfold. Matter of fact, it kind of made me maybe wanted to go to the game this weekend. I had opportunity to get tickets from work for free. It would be in the suites and nice and warm, but I said no because I have kids and a family, and my wife has a work schedule I need to abide by. Short notice, I couldn't do it, but I would have loved to be there to see if this is going to happen. But fans are going to be there, hopefully, sitting in the cold, not as much. It's going to be pretty cold down there, down at the stadium today. But Myles Garrett has an opportunity to break the record. Tennessee Titans offensive line is currently ranked 26 out of 32. They allowed 48 sacks. 48 sacks for Cam Ward. Worst in the league as far as holding the ball, and which is probably why Cam has been getting sacked a lot. He's 4th in the league with holding the ball for 2.8 seconds. That's enough time for Myles Garrett to feast people. I saw a stat earlier this season that he was getting off the line under 2 seconds. And you have Cam Ward holding it for 2.8. Myles Garrett is going to be in his face as soon as he tries to see his first read. This is all lining up to be a history in the making type of game. So you guys should be excited today to see this game. If not for, don't focus on our offense and how horrible it is. But focus on history and what can happen this game. Best case scenario, Myles gets a couple and our defense, gets 11 and it break their own record of 10 previously stated earlier during the podcast against the Las Vegas Raiders. It's all set for the defensive line who got 10 to get a lot more against the Tennessee Titans at Huntington Bank Field today. It's going to be an exciting game from that aspect. I'm going to be on my couch holding my son, probably because he sleeps during the game, and I'm not leaving. I'm going to tell my wife, listen, I'll put some earmuffs on the kid and he's sleeping here because I want to be able to witness every moment of this game. As a Browns fan, I need something to be excited about. And Myles Garrett chasing history, getting the sack record I'm putting all my money in that bucket, dog. Every bit of it. Every bit. Myles Garrett is going to turn 30 years old this month. 30. And he's going to accomplish something that is probably won't be broken for a very long time. He has a number 25 written on his wrist because that's what he wants. That's what his target goal is. But he might get more. There's a couple of opponents that hold the ball as long as Cam Ward coming up. A lot of teams going to be giving up on the season. We're going to see what happens after this, but let's see if Myles Garrett can get the sack record. And as a Browns fans, we can at least have something to have some pride. Like, yeah, so what if our team sucks? But, we have Myles Garrett. He holds the sack record. Fans will feel bad for us and pat us on our back and go about their way. But either way, we would have the sack record. Get off me. Us Browns fans, man, we have to find anything to be positive about. And for me, this season, after they handled this quarterback controversy or quarterback switcheroo of how they handled their quarterbacks of 4 different quarterbacks at camp, and you trade one and then you start Joe and then you pull him. And it's been a debacle this whole year, this offense, and the way they handled the whole thing, the quarterback tracker, everything has been nothing short of amazing as a reality show perspective, but discouraging as a Browns fan, because you have this defense who's racking up sacks and doing great numbers, top 5 in the league, and your offense got nothing enough to at least make this team anywhere close to being competitive. It is depressing. But let's get into this Shedeur Sanders conspiracy story I've been teasing you guys about. But before we get into that, let's look at something even more depressing. The injury report. The injury report is brought to you by Legoheaz Barber Barber Saloon, located in Berea, Ohio, about 10 minutes from the Cleveland Browns practice facility. Marlon is the owner there. He cuts hair. He trims beards. He lines you up. He makes you look good. He'll give you a fade. He'll give you a crop top, crew top, whatever top, a chili bowl, whatever it is you're looking for. Marlon will hook you up. And not only that, if you have a beard like mine and you're wondering why is your beard so glowy and beautiful? I use his beard products. Legoheaz beard oil and beard balm right there. When you walk in, it smells like amazing in there. That's all his product. Amazing. You can sit there and talk sports with him. He's big into music. The Roots is his favorite favorite artist. So you can go there and just chop it up with him. Get a haircut. Buy some beard stuff. He's got some merch that you can buy there. Go support a local haircut salon and barber. Like, I don't understand why these people go to Great Clips. I mean, I guess there's a place for it. I mean, but the price that they charge, you can get a nice cut from a small business like Legoheaz, and you can support him because he then supports the community out of it. He is a big community guy over there in Berea. So go. I don't mean to continue this, but go see him today. Legoheaz Barber Saloon in Berea, Ohio, and go get a haircut. You might need it before the holidays, anyways. If you're looking for a female companion, 9 times out of 10 is because you need a haircut and you're ugly. But once you get that haircut, you looking fly and you went from a 5 to a 10, and that haircut will change your life. And that's how I feel every time I leave the Legoheaz Barber Saloon. I come home and my wife is like, "Oh my God, where's my husband?" And I'm like, "It's me." She's like, "Oh, your hair looks so fine. Your beard looks so crisp." Marlon will hook you up. Nonetheless, let's look at this injury report. Out of the game. Bates out. Conklin, what a surprise. Conklin out. Huntington out, which is huge. Great prospect there. He's out. Teller out. And of course, Deshaun Watson out. By the way, they're saying Deshaun Watson isn't going to play this year, but look forward to seeing him next year. They're warning us that so I said this in the last podcast, episode 1. I wouldn't be surprised if Watson will start and maybe Shedeur will be QB2 and he will continue to develop that way. Now, that's just my take. They might draft a quarterback after what Mendoza did. They might sell the farm again and trade all their draft picks for a quarterback and still have a sucky offensive line and no talent. But that's probably on episode 3. Questionable for our team, which I hope it's not bad, because if so, then Tennessee might have a shot here, a better shot. Bush, questionable. Graham, questionable. I believe he has a rib injury, but he already said that he's going to play, but yeah, they're on the questionable list, so I got to say he's questionable. Hall Jr., which isn't good. If you have Hall Jr. and Graham, that's your middle 2 in the defense, which is stopping the run pretty well this year. That's not good. And then Sampson, which is kind of depressing. I hope he plays because I think he needs more snaps. Man, I don't know what's going on and why they haven't used him as much in the passing game. I expected more out of that, but nonetheless, it's the Browns. So what else is new, right? They have a guy that can probably outrun everybody on the field, and they use him limitedly. You draft a guy, and you're like, hey, we're going to just use you. It's a typical Browns thing. Again, nonetheless. So let's get into the reason why you're here. The Shedeur conspiracy video I found on X. I went down in this deep rabbit hole on X, and I found this guy on X. I forgot his name. You'll see his handle when I play the video. But he proceeds to talk about this video and how Kevin and Dillon gets caught at a field trip. And oh, what? Let me just let him explain.
Craziest, insane things you've ever heard in your life. And yes, it has to do with Kevin Stefanski again and Dillon Gabriel. So, yesterday, I got a phone call from my cousin who's a teacher in the Cleveland schools, and she goes, guess who I just seen? I guess they had a field trip at a cornflake factory in Lorain, Ohio. Jarvis Landry was a teacher in the Cleveland schools, and she goes, chaos in the Cleveland Browns. I got a fucking story for you that is going to seem like one of the craziest, insane things you've ever heard in your life. And yes, it has to do with Kevin Stefanski again and Dillon Gabriel. So, yesterday, I got a phone call from my cousin who's a teacher in the Cleveland schools, and she goes, guess who I just seen? I guess they had a field trip at a cornflake factory in Lorain, Ohio. And she's like, Dillon Gabriel. He was in a tour at a cornflake factory in the school that they went to, whatever. They had a tour. And he was there with some girl. And I go, oh, probably his fiance. And she's like, yeah. But guess who was with him? And I go, oh, Kevin Stefanski. And she says, yes, how did you know? And I go, it was just a wild guess. So, let me get this straight. Dillon Gabriel is at a cornflake factory in Lorain, Cleveland on a Tuesday, or what was it, Wednesday, right? On a tour, and Kevin Stefanski's with him, and I would have never believed her because he plays jokes on it, but she sent me a picture of Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel outside, and it said, Kellogg's Cornflake Factory, Lorain, Ohio, established 1912. So that's visual proof number one. How is Shedeur Sanders going to compete with a guy who is at a cornflake factory in Lorain, Cleveland?
All right, and he goes on for another 2-3 minutes talking about how Dillon sucks, which, you know, I think we can all agree Dillon was not good or may not be good. And what's crazy about this is I'm a Ohioan. I live in a suburb outside of Cleveland. And when he said Kellogg factory outside of Lorain, Ohio, it caught my interest because I thought to myself, is there a Kellogg cornflake factory in Lorain, Ohio? That doesn't seem right. So I did my limited research and I log on to Google's and I typed that in. And there's only 2 locations. There's one in Columbus and there's one in Zanesville. But I thought maybe Google's is wrong. So let me look deeper into this. And then he said he had a photo. He had a photo proof of this. And I'm thinking, well, if this has photo proof, then eventually he's going to see it. And then what's even crazier is that people in the if you go see this video on X, people in these comments are like driving home, like, oh my God, I can't believe Shedeur Sanders is going to get played. Dillon Gabriel and Kevin is at a field trip together. That means like they're going to be buddies, and the conspiracy theories against Shedeur is true, blah, blah, blah. And it's somewhat believable. If you think about it, well, the Browns do a lot of things with the schools locally here. And maybe they went on a field trip with the school and Kevin and Dillon were there and just so happened to have his fiance there, which would be weird because it's a team sanctioned event. Why is his fiance there? But I'm talking myself into this, right? I'm becoming one of these people like, oh my God, they're about to slam the door on Shedeur and cut him. And I'm thinking extreme because this is what most Shedeur or content creators do, right? They create this buzz or they create this story, and they drive this beautiful painted story home to you to rile your emotions, so you're not thinking logically. And you're not thinking with your normal brain, you're thinking emotionally, and you start thinking about these conspiracy theories. You start connecting the dots, and you're like, hey, maybe A, B, C, it goes to F, and all of a sudden you find yourself believing this. So I had to tell myself, bro, relax. This can't be true, right? Right? So I dug a little deeper. I said, he said he had a photo. So let me see if he ended up posting his receipts. Let's see if the photo is true. And this is what he posted in response to people asking about the photo. Now, what I want you to do is pay attention. Keyword to the photo.
The picture of the cornflake factory in Lorain, Ohio, that Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel were spotted at. Now, just look at now. This picture is telling. It tells you two things here. Kevin really likes Dillon Gabriel, really, and really wants him. This was Kevin Stefanski's handpicked guy that he got drafted in the third round. That would have been an undrafted free agent if he didn't draft him. So this is almost like I can picture Kevin explaining to him, "You're going to get back in. Trust me, it's only a."
All right, guys, real quick. As soon as I saw this video, I just wanted you to hear a little bit what he had to say about this video and how he's selling it. Look at this photo. Look at this photo real quick. Kellogg's background is 1930s background, right? And Dillon doesn't even look like Dillon. Dillon looks like doesn't look like Dillon. He just looks like doesn't look like, it doesn't even come close. Maybe the hair, but doesn't come close. Guys, this is AI generated. This is fake. This guy set up a story to get engagement and views, most likely because he's monetized on X or whatever platform, other platforms he goes out and sells this story to. And he riles up a fan base that's already divided based upon two quarterbacks who probably at best will be backups anyways. He goes on social media and he drives the emotion of a fan base to divide a fan base, makes up a story, AI generates a photo to create engagements. And folks, this is what Browns fans fall for every time. What makes it worse is that you have Shedeur fans who come from Colorado, Buffalo, and they add fuel to it. They add, hey, oh my God, Kevin's racist. The Browns fans, whoever argue against this, is racist. Because a story a guy totally makes up and they believe. Now, one thing that's really crazy is most people don't go looking for the photo. They just believe his word. So then they share this. If you go back to the original video, it's shared a lot of times. So that tells me these people believe this dude sharing this story. Browns fans, y'all stupid sometimes. And I listen, as a Christian, as a Christ-fearing man of God that I try to be, I hate that word stupid. I don't tell my kids to say, I hate using that word. But sometimes as a believer, I have to tell you what it is. Why are we falling for content creators that create content like this? Listen, I'm a content creator myself. On Facebook, I'm monetized. I make money off of stuff that I post. One thing between that and me is I try to be factual in what I do. I do a lot of stats. I post a lot of things that are like EPAs and PFF scores, and I give my opinion about certain things. Facts, and then I give my opinion, right? Stuff that you can dig in yourself. You can disagree, and I would disagree back, and then we'll have this civil conversation amongst each other sometimes. Some people, depending on what you say, hate it, and they put you down, and I just laugh because, like, bro, it's your social media, chill. But you have content creators whose sole purpose is to divide a fan base, and 90% of us fans are falling for it every time. Every time. In the comments, if you go to that video, you can see the people who are riled up and emotional and believe this dude's story without doing any fact checks. There's no Kellogg place in Lorain, Ohio. That's a lie. That's the first thing you can take from the story and right away write it off as a lie. You can also see when Browns do charity work. They post on it. Has the Browns ever gone to a Kellogg factory in Lorain, Ohio recently? No. Check. Lie again. Browns fans, stop falling for this type of stuff. Stop falling for this type of content. This guy is making content to pay his light bill, and you guys are giving him free money. I shouldn't even posted the video we talked about it, but I'm so frustrated that I need to get this out there. Why, as a fan base, that we have to be divided based upon who the quarterback is? If the quarterback is the quarterback and he's winning, great. Regardless of how we feel about the guy personally, outside of the other quarterback we have that we can all probably agree on we shouldn't be really rooting for. But if a kid's trying to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, let's root for him. Whether it's Dillon or Shedeur, I don't know about you guys, but I am a Browns fan. Regardless of whose name is on the jersey, what quarterback's throwing interceptions, so we don't get a lot to throw touchdowns anymore. Sorry, Baker. Regardless of who's our quarterback, as Browns fans, we need to be Browns fans and stop the divide and stop calling people names because they disagree with you on one topic or one quarterback specifically. It's football. Let's not hate each other over something so idiotic that at the end of the day, we're going to ruin humanity over who's starting for your Cleveland Browns team. I'm sorry, man, I had to get that off my chest. I just had to get this off my chest. Like, us Browns fan base are literally putting each other down daily because we don't want a quarterback to start over another one. Think of how silly and moronic that is. Now, as a content creator, I enjoy it because it creates engagement. But as a moral, civil human being, I want to tell y'all to stop. Let's get along. Let's stop taking our anger out on the individuals and start taking it out on the team, the owners, the GM, the coach. Let's do that. Sorry, I just had to get on my soapbox. I'm going to get off. These content creators that create content like this, it's all over X, man. They just thrive the algorithm with hatred toward one person and love for another, just because the love for the other is a much bigger group. Trust me, I know how it works. You attract a much bigger group. They comment it, and the little bit that hate you or hate that group, hate that player, they get in and they feed off each other and just moving the video along. I get it. But we can't be falling for simple stuff like this. Like, if you have an opinion, you want to share your opinion and you want to prove it with facts and stats, and I'm all for that. But when you make up content like this to drive your engagements, it's just straight silly. Silly. My advice for Browns fans is find a source that is true, honest with their content, whether it's a reporter or an actual Browns guy that does it like me on his free time and just loves to talk about a team, and he decided to start a podcast. Find it. Now, if someone's going off the rails, maybe you should trim them down a little bit, or ultimately go away and find somebody else. But that's how I felt about that. But nonetheless, I hope you guys find this video and then help me pass the word that it's fake. Stop, chill. Sorry, just had to get this out. When I saw the story, I'm like, I have to get this out here and share with the people that not all stories that you see on social media is true. So let's pull back a little bit. Not get so emotional. And let's be more loving and kind. It's just football. Jeez. So today, Browns versus the Tennessee Titans, 1:00. Browns favored by 3.5. I feel that the Browns may lose this game. And I'm saying that because it's hard for me to believe this. I think the Browns lose by 3. I don't know. I don't feel good about this game. I don't feel right about this game. I think Myles goes off a little bit, but I think it's a low-scoring game. I would say Shedeur throws a pick 6 and we lose 17-13. And it stems from that. And then Browns fandoms all over the world will blow up. You have those that don't like Shedeur for some reason. I don't understand it. Don't understand. The kid's a loving kid who, and it is. I like him a little bit more because he talks about his faith. That's just me being biased. I like players who are openly with their faith and believe in obviously what you believe in. Obviously, selfishly, yes. But I think he's trying, and I think we should be rooting for our court. I guess for me, my mindset is, I think you should be rooting for your team's quarterback, regardless of how you feel about him personally. Right? Like, so what if he's not doing no crimes, illegal crimes? Let me put that in there. But if he's just, so what if his brass is a little different than what you're used to? Let's root for this kid. Like, do you understand the quickest way to have a great franchise and winning franchise is one of these quarterbacks work out, whether it's Shedeur or Dillon, and then we can do great things. Or hopefully draft talent around these guys. I mean, it's not looking promising now. I'm not unrealistic to believe that it's promising. I'm not sitting there saying Shedeur is going to be the quarterback of the future. He still has a lot still to prove. But what I'm saying, let's take the approach of, man, I hope he's good, as opposed to I hope he's not good. Just so you can be right. That's all I'm saying. Well, I'm going to wrap it up today. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Typical Browns Fan podcast. Please follow me on all things social media. I'm on X, YouTube. I'm on TikTok. Typical Browns Fan. It's the same name. Give me a follow. You'll see my content. I do content with my family, sometimes my kids and my wife. I do content like this while I'm on a podcast. I also run another podcast that go live every Tuesday at 7:30 called the Bearded Browns podcast. And I also have, I'm not on it, but we do Saturday podcast, a pregame show. It's called the Browns Morning Brew. So follow those sites too. But we're also on all of them too. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the engagements. I try to be as honest as possible with my takes without lying. That's all I'm saying. I'm a passionate Browns fan just like you. So this Typical Browns fan is signing off. Until next time, keep barking, keep believing, and keep being that typical Browns fan, but the typical one that's positive and loving. Okay? That one, not one that's in the social media box chatting and making fun of people and being discouraging because you don't like yourself. Well, I'm signing off. Until next time, like always, go Browns.